This episode of Gutter Nuggets has been sponsored by Square Pigs, the other square meat.
Hey everyone, welcome to our very first episode. Tonight we're talking about space truckers. Robert, can you give us a little summary about this excellent movie?
In the year 2196, someone has developed the ultimate destructive force.
Well, Space Truckers is a movie that takes place in space with truckers. It's about the adventures of a trucker, and they haul something across the universe, and they find out what they're hauling, and then they deliver it.
It's coming!
That's the end.
It's filled with lots of kind of exciting things, and it's very kind of exciting.
I like how you said almost exciting things. There are points many times in this movie where you think something exciting is going to happen, and then it's almost lackluster. Like it almost gets there.
So yeah, the history of this movie was from 1996, and it was filmed in Ireland, and the director is the same director, I believe, and the writer from Reanimator. And Fortress, that movie Fortress, if you've ever seen it, it's a batshit insane movie. And I guess they couldn't get a distributor, so this was never released theatrically, and it premiered on HBO. And that's where I remember it.
I have no history with this movie whatsoever. This is totally brand new to me, and it was quite a trip. This movie, it was very strange. It's very stuck in its time. I think it's that 90s sci-fi weird movie.
Yeah, it has that aesthetic that almost all cheesy 90s, either it spans past space, but anything that's like science fiction, like Waterworld or Arena or Robot Jocks, which this was also made by the same person that made Robot Jocks. If you haven't seen that ridiculous movie. But yeah, everything's big and puffy and like it's almost like a bright Mario level. Speaking of Mario, it stars Dennis Hopper from Mario Brothers fame.
Turn your cortexes on up there. Food's ready. Mike, Cindy.
And Stephen Dorff?
Yes.
Dorff. I always think it's Stephen
Dorff.
Dorff. Like he's just kind of a shorter version of himself. What's Stephen Dorff's name?
The best name in the movie, Mike Pucci.
My name's Mike Pucci.
Oh, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
He's the new trucker. He's the rookie. He's the guy who wants to, wants to head on down the open road, but there's no roads in space. He's trying to get a job as a trucker, I think that was his deal. He hasn't been hauling anything. And yeah, and Dennis Hopper is the seasoned veteran of the truckers who doesn't work for the man. He's like his own boss kind of
Private contractor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there's Debi Mazar.
Debi Mazar.
Sorry I'm late. I had to give him 30 seconds notice.
She's from like Goodfellas. She was the
Yes.
side woman in Goodfellas.
Yeah, she's been in a bunch of stuff. I remember her from Empire Records.
Yeah.
She is the assistant to Rex Manning. Rex Manning, that's it. She's the assistant to Rex Manning, and yeah, that's all. I've seen her in other stuff, but I just recently watched that movie. And
She's like a great value Fran Drescher.
Yes.
That's exactly what she is. I'm sorry, Debbie.
No rules. The recycling all leftovers, okay?
All the cheap bullshit.
And she plays a waitress who needs to get to Earth, and so she agrees to marry Dennis Hopper if he gets her to Earth for some secret reason. And that's kind of the beginning. So we started with like with a scene where the guy from the guy with no eye from Last Action Hero.
If God was a villain, he'd be me.
Is introducing
Yes.
these crazy robots that kill everything. They can vape people.
A particle weapon. There's nobody within 5 years of having anything remotely like it.
And then,
Vaped himself.
yeah, this mysterious bad guy. We see his face, but we don't know who he is.
Right. He wants to buy the robots or these mechanical beings from this guy, and turns out he like crosses him and has the robots kill the creator, the guy from Last Action Hero.
Destroy Dr. Nabel.
No.
No.
And these robots turn everyone, like they vaporize them. A lot of them just turn into boots. Like that's all that's left of them. They also get very bubbly and turn different colors, and it's weird.
And the one thing about this movie we were talking about is there's no aliens. This seems to be taking place in like a future where we haven't quite gotten out of the solar system yet. So it's really alien kind of wounds, but they're just humans. It's really weird.
Right. It's very strange. I also don't like, are there the robots that this guy created, are they shooting lasers at these people?
They're like taking pictures and like it's like stealing their souls. That's the only thing it feels like. It looks like it just flashes and it makes a sound like the Texas Chainsaw. And then they disappear.
Yes.
Or they get like melted into bubbly colors.
Yeah, it's very weird.
And then the other character is the AI of the truck, the space truck, and its name is Bitchin' Betty.
Bitchin' Betty, I'm checking on cargo.
As you wish, freight driver. Magnetic floor activated.
Bitchin' Betty.
We do get to see, you know what I really wish there was more of was Dennis Hopper hauling more stuff. He hauls one thing to George Wendt is in this movie. He hauls these square pigs. They're literally like pigs that fit inside these cages, and they engulf the whole cage, and they're square.
And it's just called Square Pigs. It's not like anything else. There's Square Pigs on the side, the logo.
Pigs. Right. I wish there was more of that. I wish there was like more of like a backstory to Dennis Hopper. Like he's like we see more of the stuff that he's been hauling. Like I don't know. It just seemed very abrupt.
So you get to see a lot of weird logos as they're pulling in the
That's
beginning,
true.
like Circle Dogs and Liquid Beef. I think we saw
Liquid
It's
beef.
just-
Yeah.
and it's just like he's pulling up to this space diner, and it's littered with ads. So in the future, it's still ad hell.
What do you think liquid beef is used for? Do you think it's like a bouillon? Is it is it soup based, or are people just drinking beef?
They just got like beef shots.
Why is this futuristic? Why is liquid beef future?
Yeah, you think it'd be like beefier beef?
Yeah, I feel like in the future there will be fake beef, more fake beef than real beef.
Yeah.
But liquid beef, I don't know. I guess it's
Liquid-
easier to transport.
Be a good name for a band or a Liquid Beef.
Featuring square pigs.
Square Pig and Liquid Beef. It's like Frank Zappa. I feel like it'd be like Captain Beefheart. It's like the
Yes.
future Captain Beefheart. Liquid Beef.
Captain Liquid Beef Art.
So really, like the plot of this movie, we haven't even because there's not much of one.
No, there isn't.
Dennis Hopper pulls in with the square pigs. He gets in a fight with George Wentz goons, and he punches one, and he flips around.
Oh boy. Yes. Which we noticed.
The strings, like the strings were just apparent. They're right there. Like he's flying. He loses some CG teeth.
There's some blood. There's some CG
Oh, it's horrible.
liquid spherical blood that comes out of his
Yeah.
mouth.
It's like Mortal Kombat level
Mm-hmm.
CG here. It's just
Yeah.
weirdly mixed in with all of the practical effects. So he wants his money and they won't give it to him because he got there late or something like that. And so
Yeah.
now he needs
Yeah.
money so bad. And he goes up to the diner and he meets
Right.
Mike Pucci.
Her name's Mike Pucci.
Mike Pucci. He takes a seat right next to Mike Pucci and he talks to his his fiance that who's running the diner.
Yeah. And so this is where they make the deal. Dorff gets a job hauling the pigs back, which they don't really go
Right.
into again, do they? Like, he got the job that he stole from Dennis Hopper unknowingly, and then all of a sudden he doesn't have the job anymore.
Well, he doesn't have the job anymore, Robert, because George Wentz, asshole,
Oh, yes.
gets sucked out of a window.
Now they've lost all their hauls and they need something really bad. So they go into a bathroom and there's an old lady pooping.
Yes.
And
Starts
she's
yelling at them.
complaining, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so, yeah, they open up the stall. This lady is yelling at him, saying, like, close the door, close the door.
Get out! What are you doing?
And Dennis Hopper rips open her mouth. And inside her mouth, it like unhinges her jaw from the top. And there's a keypad inside her mouth. I think that's what happened. He punches in a bunch of numbers, and it
Like an
becomes
old lady pooping phone.
the entire inside of this porta potty thing becomes an elevator, and they go down, and they meet Mr. Zesty.
Yeah. So
What the hell am I
Mr.
saying?
Zesty,
What is this?
yeah. Mr. Zesty is always in his secret lair in this floating
Right.
diner, and you get to him by a secret compartment in the bathroom where you split an old lady who's pooping's head open.
Yeah. This sounds crazy because it is crazy. I feel like this movie would have been like a great like heavy metal comic. Like it's definitely like got that sci-fi weirdness factor to it, and it's. I feel like this could have been awesome. This movie really could have been really, really cool. But the story sucks, I guess.
Yeah, it's a very basic
It doesn't
story.
go anywhere.
Like, we're at this point, like, we're not even, like, they don't even have their haul yet, and we're, like, way into, like, 25 minutes at least. Like, I think. I'd have to check. But, yeah, so they meet Mr. Zesty, who's the trucker person who what do they call a dispatcher, I guess.
It's always a pleasure to see you, Mr. Zesty. I need to get off the hub. I need a load.
It's problematic, John.
Yeah, they got the deals.
He's really weird, and he talks in a really weird accent that I can't figure out like what it was from.
So what have you got, Mr. Zesty?
It is a rush shipment to Earth. 2-day schedule. Containers to be left in high orbit on arrival.
He said Earth.
And he wears lipstick because their logo. Did you notice that the logo for Mr. Zesty was also lipstick?
I did not notice this.
It was on their letterhead.
Oh.
And so
didn't
Mr.
know that there
Zesty-
was letterhead that we saw.
I noticed it and I was like, what the hell? That's a good detail. Like, think about, there's so many details in this movie, but they didn't concentrate on
the story. The most important part.
I want to jump back because we also learned that there's a space trucker school when we're Mike Gucci. What is it?
Pucci. P
Mike
with
Pucci.
a P. Pucci.
Her name's Mike Pucci.
Mike Pucci just graduated from Space Trucker School.
Yes. Space Trucker School. Call it the Academy. Call it something that is, I don't know, that sounds official. Space Trucker School sounds dumb.
There's a lot of dumb phrases in this movie that we'll probably get to. Like, I mean, we have Mike Pucci.
Her name's Mike Pucci.
We have John Canyon. We have Space Trucker School. We have Mr. Zesty. So many things. And in the fight where George Wendt gets his asshole sucked out, we also get this like really cool introduction to a bunch of other space truckers where they tell a story.
Some guy who recently passed away, and this guy, someone went after him, and the only thing that was left of him was his dick.
All they sent back was his dick.
Yeah,
something.
They made a very clear point about the fact that his dick still existed out of everything that was left over.
Yeah.
So yeah, back to Mr.
Weird.
Zesty. He gives them this like he was just sitting on this job where it's a super secret hall that needs to get to Earth in 2 days, and it's full of sex dolls. And throughout this entire movie, there's this really awkward sexualness to it, and it doesn't fit. It's not like, I don't know, it's not like movies that can pull that off. It comes off really creepy and off-putting.
Yes. Yeah. It is. It's like a disturbing kind of feel that you get.
Like, yeah, because it's so out of place in the movie, and somebody's forcing this angle because they thought it was a really good idea, and it's just there, and they couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah, comes off very sleazy.
So obviously they need to get to Earth. They need money, and they all three of them want a job, so they take this secret job, not really asking much about it, and they take off towards.
Right.
And again, we are way into like halfway through this movie at this point, which is insane. We just like crossed the threshold, and we're halfway through this movie.
Yeah, they're told that they're hauling sex dolls and not to open the container, not to go near it, right? They're given instructions. Don't ask questions about it. Just this goes to Earth, right?
I imagine that it makes sense because you would be like, they're space truckers, and I would imagine if you told space truckers there was a big haul of sex dolls, they'd want at least one of them.
True. Very true. This movie, like you said, like there's not like we're more than halfway through and not a whole lot has happened. Is the movie slow? Going slow? And it's not going slow. There's just not a lot of story here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of plot points, and it takes a long time to get to it for some reason. And like, but the movie didn't drag. That's the weird thing. It was more like, are you kidding me? We're almost done with this, and this hasn't even happened yet. So everybody, if you're watching this movie, there's no spoilers. You know that this truck is full of those robots from the beginning. Because why would they show those robots and nothing else has happened for almost an hour? So
exactly.
So you know they're doing that, and immediately when they like leave, they get like stuck in this thing called like the scrum zone, which is trash, I guess.
Yeah.
And they get stuck by black rock.
Gotta be a malfunction, right?
It's black rock!
Yeah, they're asteroids that are like almost have like a reflective kind of sheen on them, almost like glass, and it just projects back space, so you can't really see them. I guess that it's a metaphor for like black ice for like road truckers, and so you can't see that it's slippery. Well, you can't see the asteroid field in front of you.
Look out!
And they get hit with an asteroid that knocks out the cooling system.
Betty, confirm what I'm seeing here.
Freight driver, main and secondary engines are down due to pressure constriction of components in direction control.
Thanks, Betty.
And internal cooling system has also shut down.
Of their cab.
And we know how hot space is.
It's fucking hot.
It's so hot. It's the hottest thing, space. And I just thought of that now. I didn't even think about it until now. But yeah, they're in space, so their cooling system's broken, and now it's getting too hot. So
time to get naked. Yes. So Dennis Hopper is I believe he goes out. He goes EVA, as they call it. I think going out into space and trying to maybe channel whatever they're hauling, communicate that into the cab so it cools the cab. I guess I don't know exactly what he was trying to do.
Yeah, and pause for a minute because this is where we get a really good shot and like setup of his cab, and like the way it's so 90s, like it's so like there's like things like everything's magnetic to the wall, but it's things like baseball gloves and popcorn and like soda bottles and spoons, which makes sense, but like a banana and it's absolutely ridiculous. He's like pulling his shoes off the wall and then he goes out. Yeah.
Robert, I want to pause for a second because we did forget to talk about one of the most important scenes in the very beginning of this movie, where Dennis Hopper is moving his space truck to dock with the station that has the diner and George Wendt and all. And he puts a hot dog in front of him. He is in 0G right now, but strapped into his seat, and sprays a squirt of mustard on this hot dog, and the mustard just forms onto the hot dog, and it's one of the most beautiful scenes in this movie.
It's just perfect. It's so satisfying as the mustard equally spreads across the hot dog. Because that's another thing I love about this movie is that it's this stupid future where there's all this futuristic stuff, but then there's all the other stuff that's just not There's been no like they use flashlights, but they're like dollar store flashlights, and they still have those beads on, like those trucker beads on the chair.
Seats, yeah.
And they're just the trucker beads from like Walmart. It's not the trucker bead future trucker beads.
Right.
Like, you think they'd at least be like colorful like everything else.
Right. I mean, it does play into Dennis Hopper's character's style. He is the old-fashioned trucker. So
that's true. The old-fashioned space trucker.
Right. Yeah, space trucker. He uses his cab, I believe it's called the Pachyderm 2000.
Yeah, and has an elephant on the front.
Right. We are told by Stephen Dorff's character, Mike Pucci.
My name's Mike Pucci.
That this is an old rig. And Stephen Dorff, you know, if he had his way, he'd be in the most up-to-date cab and rig.
I would love to see that.
Yes, I'd like to see the new trucking equipment.
Yeah,
but
Dennis Hopper says he doesn't put silent toilets in, and he doesn't get any extras, and he doesn't do anything like have air conditioning. That's why they don't have air conditioning, by the way, and they're going to roast in space in the heat of space.
This is also an important time where two of the characters that we travel with take off almost all of their clothes.
Yes.
And remain almost naked through much of the movie.
Do you mind?
Oh, no. Go for it. Yeah, do the same.
Yeah, while Dennis Hopper is out trying to figure out how to save them, the other two get naked and make out a little bit.
Right. Yes.
And basically fall in love. They've known each other. I don't know how long they've known each other, but I swear this is maybe 20 minutes into their journey. Like an actual movie, not movie time, but like in universe time. They left and they got in a accident with this black rock. Mm-hmm. And then now they're naked.
Right. Dennis Hopper tries fooling around with the container that he's hauling, and two guns appear on the side and try to shoot him.
Which shoot lasers. There's a scene in the beginning where they're fighting at the ambulance place. And they're just they're like all these futuristic soldiers, and they're just using bullets. They're just normal bullets.
Yes.
And it's very mixed. Like they didn't plan it. Like they didn't plan it. Right. It seems like the theme of this movie.
The characters in this movie don't really go anywhere. The story really doesn't go anywhere.
So yeah, we're way into the movie at this point, and we barely touched any real plot points except for Dennis Hopper wants money. He wants to get Debi Mazar. Is it Mazar? I keep feeling, or Mazar?
Debi Mazar.
I don't know. Mazar? Maybe Mazar.
Yeah, I guess. Debi. They want to get Debi to Earth because then he can marry her, and she wants to get to Earth to see her, I think, her mom. Oh, and Stephen Dorff just wants a job, but he's also in love with Debi Mazar.
Debi Mazar.
Who's Cindy in the movie, but I just call her Debi. And so that's your that's your depth of character right there. And
not too much.
And so I guess they couldn't Dennis Hopper can't fix the thing, so he comes back, sees him naked, gets mad, and then out of the darkness,
he takes off his pants. Robert, he takes off his pants. You got a lot of Dennis Hopper in boxers. Yeah, boxers. Dennis Hopper in boxers for the rest of the movie too, for the most part.
It's Debi is in like a weird space bra and long underwear, and I don't know what that's called. It's like not a slip or something. I don't know what it is. What it's like. It's not underwear, but it's
They're just like shorts to me.
But they were like skin tight, like they were
skin tight
undergarments.
shorts. Steven Dorff has skin tight shorts on too, right?
Yeah.
And no shirt. Dennis Hopper's shirt, just boxers.
Just boxers.
There is a great scene when they're about to make out. They're both, Debbie and Steven Dorff are getting undressed in the cab of the truck, and there's all of the zero G effects in this movie are either people off camera pretending to float an object, or people on strings, or I guess maybe a little blue screen too at some point. But where Steven Dorff is taking off his pants, the shot is shots so that it looks like he would be showing her his butthole.
Oh,
it's amazing.
It's total butthole. Like, and and you sit there for a minute and you think like, oh man, that's what he's into. And it kind of pans up and you see his boxers. So now out of the darkness there's been this ship there the whole time, and it comes and it's huge. And it kind of sucks him in like the Star Destroyer in Star Wars.
Space pirates.
Over to the control panel! Move it now!
We're going.
You're all prisoners of the regalia, if anyone's curious.
Yes, by these space pirates. And right when they get out, there's like some dialogue like, don't kill us. But there's this one guy. He kind of looks like the bad guy from Commando, who's super into John Matrix, and he just wants to cut him so bad.
I don't need the girl!
I don't need the gun, John. I can beat you.
I don't need no gun!
And he does this line, and it's about like we're not gonna kill you, or we'll kill you if you do this, we'll kill you if you do that.
If you try to escape, you will be killed. If you resist, you will be killed. If you fail to obey orders, you will be killed. What the hell? We'll probably kill you anyway.
And it's so flatly acted, and it's so misses the mark. Like you could tell like someone more talented could have made that funny. Like the guy in Pee-wee.
Exactly.
Like,
I say we stop them! Yeah! Then we tattoo them! Yeah! Then we hang them! Yeah! And then we kill them! Yeah!
Also in this scene, there's a crowd participation part, and there's one guy who is louder than everyone else in the crowd, and he has a few choice lines that I think he just yells, "Yeah!" and
"What are you holding?"
We don't know. I'm telling you that we don't know. Never cared.
He says something about drugs.
You like drugs or guns, Beslo? Drugs, man. I like.
Yeah, it's obvious like ADR where they like threw it in afterwards, and it's so hard to hear, but also clear as day at the same time. And he keeps doing it, and then we get revealed the guy from the beginning who was selling the robots who got turned on, and we thought he was dead.
Manifestors that carried sex dolls.
Comes out as the he's like a weird sexy Nazi robot, right? As the captain.
I wouldn't say sexy. But that's just me. He apparently rebuilt himself after he was fried by the robots in the beginning. He's got a peg leg. He's got weird glasses on, but when he does take them off, you do see that he has one eye. Half of his body is burnt and all mushy, but has like robotic parts put onto him.
he's
got
like the goo
a brain
in him
thing?
too.
Yeah,
He's got.
Yeah, there's like this green goo.
It's like in his heart. It's like his gasoline. I guess.
Yes.
He's digital, but as we'll get into it, he's also he's like a hybrid. Like he has some gasoline engine parts.
He has both. Actually, no, all three of them chained up. Their hands are bound, and you don't really know where they're attached to. But yeah, both Dennis Hopper and Stephen Dorff have like a very close conversation with him, and this guy keeps grabbing their dicks, right?
I didn't save you, you company scumbag. I jacked your load.
Doesn't he grab Stephen Dorff's dick?
I don't remember. I'll have to watch that part again. I don't remember any dick grabbing.
Is he talking about my dick?
He really likes Debbie, and he offers to let them go. By the way, that's what I was going to say. At this point, we have like 30 minutes left of the movie. We don't even know what's on that truck, but we know it's on the truck, but they haven't revealed it yet. This guy, obviously he doesn't even know what's on the truck yet. And we're kind of like, we're getting closer to it. We're like, okay, something's going to happen. Right. And so the guy from, this is the guy from Last Action Hero. He says if Debbie is gonna, okay, I'm not even gonna say this, but like if has relations, but they just like, if she has sex with me, and then she's I'll have sex with you.
Were you not chained to a major support beam of my ship, I wouldn't stand a chance of having sex with someone so alluring.
All right, so keep the load and give us the rig, and I'll have sex with you.
That's the lines in the movie. That he'll let them go, and and so they proceed to do a scene that I don't want to get too much into, but I mean we can get into parts of it, but it's kind of creepy. It's not the best scene that holds up.
No, it's not. We see more of his body. He does he takes off his Nazi jacket, and you see and he takes off his glasses. You see that his one of his eyes is gone, and it's a robotic eye. Half of his skull is, you see inside, it's like a see-through skull, and you see the juice that's in his heart, and you see his butt.
Yeah, it has robotic parts inside the butt.
Yeah. And then we learn that he has an electric. What does he call it?
I emit a low amp electrical wang pulse.
Well, he has a gas-powered penis.
Yes.
And it's has an electrical wang pulse, an EWP, and so he's trying to start it so they can get to business. And he's they do the gag where he, it fails. And he's like, oh, I guess this doesn't happen.
Before he essentially rapes her, she takes him down, and doesn't she does she rip off something of his?
He's on top of her, and she rips out his juice his juice tubes.
Right. So his green juice is spraying everywhere, and he's on the floor, and then she takes his costume and walks out of the room while he's essentially, I guess, dying, and gets his glasses on and walks out of the room, and then tricks one of the guards into thinking that she is him.
Yeah, she didn't have a peg leg. She's half the size. She's has the reddest lips that you could possibly have.
She's not in shadow or anything.
No.
You could clearly see that it's her dressed up in his clothing.
She won't talk. She's she's like
Right.
mimicking to this guard to like let them down so she can kill them or
Right.
and it succeeds because this movie it's what it is.
Then the guy comes out, he repaired himself, and then they start opening up the crate, right? And then we start finding out like that the robots are on the board, and they're actually coming to life and start killing people.
Yeah, it's like, and again, we are like 20 minutes away from the end of this movie. And while we were watching it, I kept checking because it was like, this can't be almost over. How is this gonna stop? Like, it's just gonna end. So there's a slower scene where they go into the truck and they start like, there's like these weird, it doesn't fit the movie again. And it's like this weird Geiger-esque robots. And there's like these weird testicle sacks. And the guy from Last Action Hero is like cupping them all, feeling them like it's like you would to find the right pineapple at the store, you know?
Just what do we got here, sir?
We've got SAGs, boys. We've got EJ SAGs. Right by shriveled little scrotum.
Yeah. And then we get our action scene. Our like first or second battle scene of the whole entire movie, I think.
Yeah, the robots start killing people. And Dennis Hopper, Stephen Dorff, and Debi escape somehow.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, they
Is that how that works?
well, they're fighting. I don't even remember. Yeah, I honestly can't even remember. It was so like you have this action scene. I don't even remember because it was so dull. And I'm thinking about like a lot of the movie's fun to just see their like it has a lot of creativity in it, but it's so dull.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing I remember just them driving away. And like the guy gets blown up inside the truck. The last action hero guy gets blown up and he's like half his body's there and he just asks for a cigarette.
It's got the bubbles too.
Yeah.
Like me.
And he lost his half electric asshole.
Leave her alone, you half electric asshole.
Yes.
Then they're like, let's go to Earth. Anyway.
Yeah.
With these killer things that are obviously not sex dolls.
They're attached. They're still hauling these evil robots straight to Earth.
For some reason, they're like, yeah, we're going to take them anyway because they still want their money. And we have like 10 minutes left of the movie, by the way.
Yeah, then the robots come out and they go through the front of the rig. They break through, right? Or is that later?
The robots break out and do the exact same thing that they've done 3 times so far in the movie. And they still were like, let's still deliver this and drive these things around. I don't know what they expected. So
I don't know either.
Now that they're next to Earth, they decide that these robots need to get stopped and we're going to blow them up.
Stephen Dorff and Debbie go into a escape pod, which was never mentioned before.
No, not even in like a side comment to set it up. No old ladies pooping in the toilet.
And Dennis Hopper is going to blow up the container, releasing the coupling on his rig, and then ride the rig down to Earth into the atmosphere. I think that's what his plan was. And it goes off without a hitch. He does it. Congratulations, Dennis Hopper.
And so they come around in the escape pod and they help him by blasting the dudes, but then they leave him and they leave him to his rig. And then
Debbie and Stephen Dorff make it to Earth. They land.
By the way, before that happened, Dennis Hopper figured he was going to die, so he gave Stephen Dorff permission to marry Debbie.
He told Debbie, "I release you of your bonds to me. We're not gonna get married. You can marry Stephen Dorff." What the hell?
And so so you think they land on Earth,
and
you think Dennis Hopper's dead, and you get about 2 seconds of that before
he's just jumping out with a parachute.
There he is.
Screw your moment of tension and feelings. We got to get this movie over with.
They see his cab like break through the atmosphere and essentially just explode. And like, oh, I guess he's dead. But yeah, the parachute, he lands. Is that the end of the movie?
No. Then
is that the end?
They just, nobody from Earth is like, hey, you can't just fall to Earth and then walk away and just do stuff. You have to, you need to say why you're on Earth. That doesn't happen. They just go to the hospital to visit Debbie's mom.
You hear like a news report in the background. 2 truckers and a diner waitress save the world from impending doom of robots attacking.
So they do this like an implication that there was this whole thing, like probably like there was a whole movie between the landing and going to see the mom.
It turns out that Debbie's mom was frozen.
You see, when I got sick, they offered me a choice: die or get frozen. Anyway, I got the deep freeze. They thawed me. They cured me. Here I am.
They froze you?
Because she was sick, and they froze her, and they fixed her, and now she's not old, so Dennis Hopper can marry her. Now he has a new love interest.
Yeah, and she immediately basically falls in love with him, obviously.
Right.
And then we have 5 minutes of this movie left.
Guess who shows up, Robert?
Who shows up, Ben?
The president of the world.
The president? The president of the world is coming here?
The president of the world?
Yes. The man from the beginning of the movie who turned on the guy from The Last Action Hero.
I'm President Saggs, and I'm here to express the gratitude of my administration.
He is here. He's saying that he's the new president of the world, and he wants Dennis Hopper, Stephen Dorff, and Debbie to shut the fuck up and not tell anyone about the evil robots. And here's a briefcase of money, and I'm gonna pay for Debbie's mom's freezer bills.
Now, just so happens there's a new rig waiting to take off, and it's waiting for you there on Gantry F.
What do you think we do? Buy us like a tuna fish sandwich?
I've also arranged to have your mother's hospital bill taken care of.
And
everything's covered. Just shut up.
Right. Dennis Hopper, of course, says, "Sure, thank you. That would be great." And Stephen Dorff and Debbie say, "How can you do that? This man's evil. We're not going to shut up." And he tells the president, "Hey, we won't say anything. Thank you." And president leaves and goes downstairs to his limousine, his space limousine. And there's a briefcase of money. And who throws the briefcase of money out the window? I don't remember.
I don't remember, because Dennis Hopper is sort of like, take it. And they're like, no, we don't want this like blood money. And
right.
I think Stephen Dorff maybe. It's not Dennis Hopper, I don't think.
You gonna take it, John? Are you gonna take it?
No, but I don't want you to end up like me.
God forbid.
The briefcase crashes through the window of the hospital, and they're high up, and it just falls and falls and falls. And the president's getting in his car, and it looks like it's going to fall in his car. And the president opens up this little box, and he's looking like he's going to push a button because we know what's going to happen.
There was a bomb in the money. The money wasn't real. and the briefcase falls on the car, and as he presses the button, it explodes, and the car explodes too, killing the president of the world.
So in the world has seen like there's so many good movies within this movie that could have been written, because like
yes,
the president of the world makes a comment that the other president of the world just resigned 4 weeks ago, obviously because there was some sort of coup.
Sags? EJ Sags?
I thought that the president's name was Dobie.
Dobie's the former president. He resigned last week. Government's been privatized.
By this evil guy who was getting these robots to come down to take over, I guess, to help him, take over more. And
right.
And then he gets killed. So the world right now has like 2 presidents within a month. President of the world. 2 presidents gone, and now they're gonna have another person, and they just leave it there. Like, I want to know what happens with the political impact, the anarchy.
There's not a president of the world. The world is gonna go crazy if there's no president.
Yeah, who's the vice president of the world? And I like there's a president of the world, because I feel like if the world was run by one person, it wouldn't be the president of the world. I feel like it would be something else, like the prime minister of the world, or the king of the world, or
world leader.
So that's the end of the movie. All of them together now. Dennis Hopper and Debbie's mom, and Debbie and Stephen Dorff, Mike Pucci.
My name's Mike Pucci.
Just head off for more adventures. The end, right?
Yeah, they take off in what looks like a very slow-moving spacecraft.
Yes, very slow.
4, 3, 2, 1. We have booster ignition.
Yeah, and that's the end of the movie. Robert, was there a sequel to this movie?
No, there wasn't. So the only thing that happened in this movie, we see robots attack. Then we get him pulling into the diner. They get a job from the diner. Get stuck right outside the diner. Get kidnapped by pirates. Go to the world. The end. That's the entire epic movie of Space Truckers. That's 3 locations in this entire movie. There's the diner, there's the pirate ship, and there's Earth. And the truck, I guess. That's it.
Yeah, inside the truck, yeah.
But the weird thing about it is that it didn't drag.
Yeah, it moved really fast. It's almost like a treadmill of a movie.
Yeah.
Like it was set on very fast. It went fast, but we did not go anywhere at all.
That's a really good observation. Would you tell people to watch this movie? Would you tell them to find it in the trash and pop it in?
Okay, maybe not the full movie, but there are definitely some clips that people definitely need to see. The old woman in the toilet is probably the best scene in the movie. Do you like the hot dog scene? That's a good one.
The classic hot dog scene.
Stick around for Mr. Zesty, maybe a little bit.
Every character was more interesting than the movie as a whole.
Yes.
And you wanted to know more. Like, stay with the characters. And it's so weird because they moved so fast and they didn't stay with any of these characters, but then nothing happened. It's a black hole. It's so weird. I would say if you like 90s kind of schlocky movies, and you like Waterworld and Congo, this is kind of that it's like a higher budget, really bad B movie that has a lot of creativity in it, but just not good writing. And it has good actors. Like, that's the thing. Like, this is a really bad movie that was saved by really good special effects artists that make fun stuff, and good actors, or at least competent actors. And that's it. Like, you can see how this movie would have been terrible if they didn't have one of those things.
I agree. I guess I kind of liked it. Maybe some parts.
Yeah, I don't think I'd
whole-
ever watch it again.
I don't know.
But I would talk about it a lot. Like I'll talk about this movie like years from now, just be like, oh man, space truckers with the square pigs and the fully round circular hot dogs. Well, that was pretty fun, Ben. I think I'd like to do this more often.
I would also like that.
I mean, there's a lot of movies in this garbage dump behind this this VHS store that we have to go through, and let's get back to going through all these things, and we'll hopefully see you next time, right?
Yeah. Do you think they'll be as good as Space Truckers?
I don't know. That's a high bar.
I think it's time for you to leave. You're upsetting my pigs.